Hello and welcome back to the Case Foundation's Facebook Live studio at the American Cities House at South by Southwest. Thank you for everyone who has been with us all day. You will either be pleased or dismayed to know that we are here with our last interview. We have Concetta Rand, who's joining us from iFundWomen, to talk a little bit specifically about the access to capital issues and opportunities for women entrepreneurs out there. So Concetta, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me, Sarah. I'm so excited to be here. This is such an important conversation to be having.
It really is, and it's been so inspiring to hear from all of the entrepreneurs and the ecosystem builders out there who are making it easier for entrepreneurs from any background to scale their businesses. And so it's just been such an inspiring day. But I want to dive into a little bit of what is iFundWomen. So
Absolutely.
What are you working on?
Yeah, so iFundWomen was started to empower women to start better businesses. We are a fundraising ecosystem to help women launch and grow better businesses. Every day, women in this country start about 1,100 net new businesses. We do it with about half as much capital, unfortunately, as our male counterparts. And when you look at the data on the venture capital side, we're receiving about 2% of venture dollars. So we know that access to capital is a huge barrier for female entrepreneurs. The other challenge is our companies, when we start them, they're not growing as fast as they need to be. And so we need to help women have access to capital and also coaching and mentorship to help them build better businesses. And we think that crowdfunding is an extremely efficient vehicle to be able to do that.
And I know that there have been studies out there that say that women perform particularly well on crowdfunding. And so this is a great moment of saying, okay, well, the data on venture capital is quite terrible. The data on crowdfunding is quite favorable.
Yes.
So how do we build something that takes advantage of that?
Absolutely. And I think when you look at that data and you say, okay, what's holding women back? So we said access to capital, coaches and mentors to really help people see the way, right? To learn how to learn from their mistakes, to have people who can advise them on that journey. Women are natural storytellers and we're natural connectors. The problem is we're not comfortable going out and advocating for ourselves. And we keep our ideas we keep them precious. We want things to be perfect before we show them to the world. And what crowdfunding does, rewards-based crowdfunding in particular, is it forces you to take your business out into the world, to gather real-world feedback, to raise money, to connect with customers, to connect with prospects, and to really learn and grow. Because the reality is 92% of startups fail. And that's absolutely fine. Entrepreneurship is a journey, and there's nothing wrong with failure. We see it all as learning. And if you can leverage crowdfunding as that vehicle to help you figure out if there is actually demand for what you're building ahead of investing years of your life and your money in building supply, all the better. And if you have a natural skill set and you're more inclined to be successful doing it, we want you doing it with us.
Well, and it also seems like it could be a really valuable way to kind of diversify where the money is coming from, so that the risk that the entrepreneur is taking isn't as significant as well. Because I know that the failure stats and the culture in entrepreneurship is so real, but there are a lot of entrepreneurs who would hear that and say, I can't take that kind of risk. I can't do that. Either I can't afford it, my family can't afford it. That's not something that I can really shoulder the burden for.
Yeah.
And so crowdfunding actually puts that and distributes it among a lot of different people, right?
Yes.
So it's easier?
Yeah, I think that risk mitigation is actually a really important point, right? Because women in general, we're trying to figure out, okay, I have my full-time job. Maybe I want to start a business on the side, but I don't know how to do it. And what if it fails, right? We have all these questions about it. I don't know if I actually have what it takes. Crowdfunding is a way to really maintain that control and independence that you want from entrepreneurship while also raising money to launch and grow. And the thing that I think is so interesting is if you Google how to fund my startup, you can Google it. There's two options. There's two things that show up. It's a little card from Entrepreneur and it'll tell you, take out a bank loan, get an investor. Well, either of those two things are going to make you compromise control or independence, the two things that we know are major drivers for female entrepreneurs. And so if we can help women tap into their networks, if we can empower them with the confidence to go out and advocate for their ideas and to put their businesses out in the world, we know that they can be more successful. And we know that, for instance, our coaching works. We coach women, every single woman who comes and runs a campaign with us, we give them access to free coaching resources. And the women that we coach raise 4.5 times more money than the women who do it alone.
Wow, that is significant amount of funding.
It is. It's real money. And the thing is, we know that it works. We ran the data. We run it all the time. We look to see, okay, if you use our tools, if you get on the phone and you talk through your strategy with us, if you really think critically about your strategy and you are deliberate in your planning, we can get you off to the races, like raising more money faster. We can put cash in your hands to do anything from fund your MVP to launch a new product to pre-sell something before it's on the market. And it's really, really powerful. But a lot of times it's that hurdle that you talked about of like, I can't fail, I can't take that risk. We're here to tell you that you can.
Well, and I also like the idea of giving entrepreneurs more stability before they go out and ask for that investment, right? Because if you as an entrepreneur actually feel like you are in a better negotiating point, then maybe you will maintain more control when you actually go and raise a round. You don't have to give away as much equity as if you were trying to go through an equity-based investment early on when you don't really have a lot of stability in the business that you're building.
Absolutely. And we know that we're up against a higher barrier, right? And so if I can walk into an investor meeting and say, instead of say, look at my 10 slides, I can say, look at the $400,000 I just raised through my campaign, pre-selling memberships to, a new space that I'm looking to build. I've validated that demand, right? I've gone to market and I've proven that there is a need for what I am offering, and that absolutely puts you in a stronger negotiating spot.
Mm-hmm. So you are also a team of all women over at iFundWomen. Mm-hmm. Was that purposeful? And how do you think about kind of inclusion at an organizational level too when you're building this?
Absolutely. Well, we know obviously inclusion and diversity is incredibly important. And from a business perspective, multi-gendered teams perform better. And we welcome multi-gender teams on iFundWomen. We have many campaigns that are run with multi-gender teams and highly diverse companies. So we have been really looking to just grow the business and the team with the talent that we have, and I think what we're offering is really unique, and we absolutely want to see. We welcome men as investors and as co-founders as well.
So are there any kind of bright spots that you've seen on the platform or people that have really blown you away?
Oh my gosh, there are so many. I'll tell you about just a couple. Excuse me. So when we talked earlier about raising money to fund your MVP, you might not fund all of your development through your crowdfunding campaign. You may just want to fund a portion of it and use that as a vehicle to really engage your network and get your story out into the market, and think really critically about how you are bringing people into that development process. That's what Dr. Sandra K. Johnson has been doing with her mobile app G-Remit, which is a blockchain technology. She was a first African-American woman in the country to get a PhD in electrical engineering, unbelievable technical leader at IBM, and she is crowdfunding on iFundWomen right now for her own app development. She is one of our great success stories. We also talked a little bit about pre-selling memberships or products or services. We had 4 women out of Minneapolis found the Coven, which is a co-working and membership space for women in downtown Minneapolis. They raised over $300,000 pre-selling memberships, lifetime memberships to the space. And so they went out and figured out what was missing in the market, and they held pop-up events all over the city. They engaged their networks and their networks, and as they were successful in their campaign, they continued to raise their goals. And so they set their sights higher and higher, and they let their success build on itself. And that was incredibly powerful for them, not just in their fundraising effort, but in launching a new business and getting their entire community behind what they were creating.
That's really remarkable, and good examples of people who are kind of breaking through at different points, and the value of having any moment where you can really understand what your business is trying to accomplish and knowing that you're not doing it in an echo chamber.
Yes.
And it gives you validation, but it also gives you, I would imagine, a lot of just general support of knowing these people are behind me, they believe in what I'm building, they want to buy what I'm building, and that this
I think the savviest entrepreneurs know that their crowdfunding campaign is about so much more than just raising money. They are building their early core of brand evangelists, the people who really have a stake in what they're putting together, their friends, their family, their followers, their first and second and third degree connections. They're kind of pulling the curtain back and bringing them into that development process, and they're making them a part of the story. And I think that's really, really powerful, because entrepreneurship can feel very lonely, and it can feel like I have to do it all myself. It's me against the world. And we are really looking to shift that narrative. One of the other things we do that we're really excited about is we have a private Slack community, and we connect all of our entrepreneurs on it. So women and entrepreneurs who may never meet can learn from each other, can peer coach each other, can share and pay forward what they've learned through the experience. And it is so exciting to see our success stories stick around to cheer on the entrepreneurs who come behind them.
Well, before I let you go, I want to highlight the last thing about your platform that I think is so interesting, which is the pay it forward model.
Oh, yes.
Can you explain for people a little bit of how this works?
Absolutely. So we also we take a percentage of our fees. We take 20% of the profits from the standard fees on the site, and we pay them forward into live campaigns. What that means is every month campaigns are eligible for a pay it forward grant. It's a cash infusion for those campaigns that have reached specific milestones, and we believe that pay it forward money is going to help get them that much closer to the finish line. And paying it forward really is core to the mission. It's in all of our content, it's in all of our stories, and we put our money where our mouth is as well.
Wow, how incredible. Well, thank you so much, Concetta, for being here with us today and talking a little bit more about what opportunities there are to kind of change the way that capital flows for women entrepreneurs.
Absolutely. If you are a woman keeping an idea out there, we want you, keeping that idea to yourself, we want you on iFundWomen. So thank you so much for the opportunity to be here.
All right, enjoy the rest of your time here at South by Southwest. And thank you to everyone who's joined us for our Facebook Live studio here at South by. A big thanks to TechCo and Kaufman on the American Cities House. And we hope that we'll see you at the rest of the events that the Case Foundation team has here at South by Southwest. If you want to learn more, go to casefoundation.org/blog to learn more about the various events where our team is going to be here. Hope to see you there.